I began playing the trumpet back in 1987. Back then, the common path for a student learning to play an instrument was to rent the instrument. I was surprised when helping out at a local school band the number of affordable instruments on the market today and how common instrument ownership is even with new students. So the purpose of this video today is to talk about the pros and cons of both rental and instrument ownership. Okay, so let's talk about the benefits of each. First, with instrument rental. If you're renting an instrument, it's probably from your local music store. They're going to want you to be happy and continue to play the instrument. So they're going to provide you good local support. They may help connect you with a teacher. If the instrument has a manufacturing defect or was to break in some way, they're going to repair the instrument. Or if the instrument is damaged, chances are they're also going to be the one you're going to take the instrument to get it repaired. Also, if you begin playing an instrument and you decide it's not for you, most music stores will let you switch to a different instrument under the same rental contract, and you can try out a different instrument for the same price. That's a nice option if you aren't 100% sure you want to play a specific instrument. Another benefit of renting is a lot of music stores will offer a rent-to-buy option when renting an instrument. I began with a Bundy student trumpet as a rent-to-buy option. It was a brand new instrument when it was given to me for a rental, and the goal was to rent it for a long enough period of time that at the end of that rental contract I would own the instrument. That's a great benefit if you don't have money to come up with up front to purchase an instrument. However, in most cases, in the end you'll pay a lot more for the instrument in a rent-to-buy option than the instrument would cost outright, but if you don't have the money up front, it is a good option to get an instrument. The instruments from most music stores are more recognizable brand instruments. If brand names are important to you, a rental would probably be the way to go. So let's talk about the benefits of purchasing, because there's some benefits there too. If you purchase an instrument, you can actually find some pretty decent quality import instruments that may save you money within less than a year. Now I'll talk about the specifics of that in a moment, but purchasing an instrument may actually save you money. If your student quits playing the instrument, you then also have an asset that hopefully you can sell and recoup some of your investment. Whereas with renting, that's not the case. I feel like students who own their instruments learn to take better care of it. When I was a student and I had a trumpet that wasn't mine, I maybe wasn't quite as careful with it, but once I had my own trumpet, I knew I didn't take good care of it. I was going to have it for a long period of time, and I found that it encouraged me to take better care of my instrument. Now, both rental and ownership have some cons as well, so let's talk about those. First, the cons of rental. Rental can be a more expensive option in the long run. Most rental contracts on trumpets are about $30 a month for a 12-month period. So in a year, the rental contract of that trumpet is $360. A quality import trumpet can be found on the internet for sometimes as cheap as $200. So if you're willing to spend the money up front, purchasing an instrument may actually save you money in a pretty short period of time over rental. Also, if your student loses interest, you're going to be on the hook for the cost of that instrument for whatever rental period you agreed to in the contract. Most rental contracts are 12 months, so again, you're on the hook for that $360. Now in a rental, at the end of that rental period, they're going to charge you for any dents and dings on that instrument, so just something else to be aware of with a rental. Also recognize if you're a germaphobe, with a rental, the instruments are pre-used. It may be hard to tell. Some of them may actually show quite a bit of wear, but don't be surprised to discover that the instrument was used by someone prior to you. So let's talk about the cons of purchasing an instrument. If it's not a name brand instrument, your local music store may not be willing to repair the instrument. It may be they can't get parts. It may be they're not familiar with the brand. So if the instrument is damaged, your local music store may or may not be willing to repair the instrument. Now, I would say with the trumpet, that's maybe less of an issue than with like the saxophone, clarinet, flute that have a lot of moving parts. The trumpet, really, we just have the slides and the valves that are moving. So it's probably less of a factor, but it is something still to keep in mind. If the instrument were to be dropped and damaged, your local music store may or may not be willing to fix it. Also, be wary of some of the instruments online. Some seem to be actually surprisingly good quality for the price. Others are not so much. So my goal is I'm going to try to get my hands on as many student and intermediate level instruments as I can and give honest, non-biased reviews of each, so hopefully you can find a good quality instrument for a good price. I hope this video is helpful. I hope the tips help you decide which option, rental or ownership, is the best case for you. Stay tuned. I hope to have several reviews for you in the near future.